The Network Podcast. I am your co-host Kent, and with me in person,
Jason.
So the reason why we are here in person,
I think you know it's that time of the year.
Yeah, we're in my basement, so if there's an echo, that's the reason why.
Yep. So just bear in mind with that. So
well, this is our annual G Fest preview. We go over the schedule. We list at the very least all of the different panels that are going to be taking place at the upcoming G-Fest this year, G-Fest 25.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of, after that, go in, well, actually, as we go along, and, even afterwards, we go into further depth about some of the panels that we are most interested in, some of the panels we want to attend, hope to attend, and just some of the other things that we're looking forward to about the year's upcoming G-Fest.
Yep, and I know I kind of explained to Kent that I also have couple more tabs up if we want to kind of go over things. Like one is the movies that are going to be playing at the Pickwick Theater this year starting. I think they usually do it from Thursday and then from Saturday and all that. So so pretty much the entire episode we're going to be going over the schedule for G-Fest 25 here. So do you want to dive in?
Well, I think before we dive into it immediately, let's just kind of discuss a little bit of our history with G-Fest and then kind of briefly go over last year's, kind of what we thought in a very small nutshell, go over all the previous ones too.
Because I'm not sure if we entirely did like a whole review on last year's G-Fest.
We did. Okay. I re-listened to that podcast like 2 months ago. I didn't listen to all of it, but we did do a podcast on it. I mean, every year we've done a preview, and then a week or two afterwards we do a review of the convention as well. And for us, this will be our 7th year going, our 7th consecutive year going.
I can't believe it.
It's just
going there for
flies.
that long.
Time flies. I'm actually thinner now than I was this time last
year. A little bit.
I've lost like 15, 20 pounds since last October. So,
and I'm just kind of slowly gaining a little bit of weight over time. So, and I need to start getting fit.
Yeah.
more up in the upper part. My legs are really good.
But anyway, this will be our 7th consecutive year going. Big year. For anyone, just a quick note before I even forget. Quick note: Akira Takarada is not attending this year. He had some surgery for an intestinal blockage. He's doing fine. And in his place will be Kinpachiro Satsuma. For those who may not be familiar, maybe have heard of the name, but not quite sure who he is primarily known for playing Godzilla in the Heisei era of Godzilla films, but he also played some of the villain kaiju from the late Showa era. He played Hedorah. I think he even played Gigan in Godzilla vs. Gigan as well. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But he played in a few of those later Showa films as well. So Kinpachiro Satsuma will be taking a stead, and that's going to be the first time in a long while that Satsuma-san is coming to G-Fest. In the 7 years we've been gone, the only suit actor that has come to G-Fest was Tsutomu Kitagawa, who played the Godzilla throughout most of the Millennium films. And all but except, I think, GMK. I think that was the only one in which he didn't act in. So this will be a big thing for us, and I think really in general a big thing for a lot of the G-Fest fans, just because, again, Satsuma-san hasn't attended one of these in quite some time. So, 7 years we've been going. Just going over the schedule, I've looked at the schedule 2 or 3 times quickly since it's been released here. It was released about 2-3 weeks ago.
I've only briefly kind of glanced at it, so I haven't fully seen what's going to take place for G-Fest this year. So
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Just looking over the schedule, and again, we don't really know how good a G-Fest is until you actually go. But even then, a lot of times the kinds of panels that you see on the schedule beforehand tend to, not always, but tend to give some indication as far as what you can expect from that overall G-Fest. There was one G-Fest, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 G Fests ago, I can't remember exactly, where there was one panel I was really looking forward to seeing. I think it was behind the scenes of Biollante or something like that, and it ended up being more about Koichi Kawakida's special effects work, and that was because
I think
the panelists didn't have enough information really on Biollante.
I think that was 2 G Fests ago when he was alive. I think that was his last appearance when he was alive.
My point is that panel, at least when you looked at it and you were like, okay, well, this is going to be about Biollante or whatever, it really wasn't. And as a result, that panel was not good. And I remember walking out of it halfway through. I just said, this is going nowhere. And the panelists even admitted that they didn't have enough information on it. So I ended up leaving. But a lot of times, not always, and again, I can point out different examples of over the 6 previous G-Fests we've gone to in which it seemed like on paper certain panels were going to be good and either they were okay or they did live up to expectations or they were downright bad. I can tell you kind of where on the line.
We've seen pretty much all the spectrums of the panels over the years.
Yeah, so at least for me personally, when I've looked over the schedule so far, I think this particular G-Fest definitely has the potential to be better than last year's. I know last year we weren't too thrilled about it, but we thought it was better than 21.
Definitely.
But last year left a lot to be desired, and I remember when we did the preview for that, when we went over the schedule, I remember even saying last year I had concerns about that particular G-Fest just because if you looked at the panels, you took a look at what the content was to be covered in some of those panels. And I remember saying I'm a little concerned about it. And then, of course, after the convention all was said and done, there were definitely some good, if not great moments, but a lot of times it was either mediocre or really just it fell short. But like I told Jason, I'm like, well, maybe that's a good sign because our first 2 G-Fests we went to were great. Then you had G-Fest 21, which was a huge stinker, I thought, in terms of the content of the panels and all that. Then 22 and 23 were awesome. Last year fell flat. So I told him, I'm like, hey, with this pattern, 25 and 26 should be great.
Because I think by far we had G-Fest 23 as the best one, or was that 22?
I don't remember it. I think at least we thought 22 was approaching. For me personally, and I don't know, I can't think of that yet. I would have to have a little bit more time to think it over. But for me, I would say in no order, the top 3 G-Fests would be the first 2 that we went to and 22. Where they would be placed, I don't know. Like I said, I need more time to think about that. But
I know we've kind of gone over, did some rankings and stuff, kind of in our quiet corner and then on the podcast too. So I even can't quite remember. I would have to re-listen to last year's podcast. But I mean, even for me though, when I've gone through and I've rethought about all the G-Fests we've gone to, there are times in which my mind changes. There would be maybe some times in which I thought G-Fest 20 was the best. Well, then the next day I may be like, nope, I think 22 is the best. It just kind of changes a little bit. But one thing that doesn't change is that G-Fest 21 was a stinker. That hasn't changed. But my initial impressions of this year, G-Fest 25, from a content standpoint, looking at what these panels are supposed to cover, I do believe it's not only going to be better than last year's, and obviously 21's, which is a very low bar to begin with. That's a very, very low bar.
I think this potentially, maybe at best, I'm not sure. Again, we'll see kind of when we go there and everything. This, I think, has the potential to be a top 3 for us, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, once we go in the schedule in more detail for me, I'll probably kind of get a better idea as far as my kind of where I'll be ranked.
Yeah. So this year, I think for a special guest here, let's just go ahead and bring those up. Like we said, Takarada-san, unfortunately, is not going to be making it this year.
Yeah, which is kind of a little bit of a disappointment for me, but at least I was really wanting to look forward to, what was his name here? Kinpachio. Yeah, That's one who I was really looking forward to this year.
Mhm.
So let's see here. We got Thursday's schedule
No,
here.
we're not ready for schedule yet. Here.
Oh, where you
I
want
said
to
special guest.
Okay. Start from the top here.
And so one of the special guests this year is Megumi Odaka, who most of you know as Miki Sagusa from the Heisei Godzilla film franchise. It's been a while since she's been here as well. I think it was like GS 15, 16.
Yeah, probably at least a few years before we started first attending G-Fest there.
Yeah, so this will be her first one. Does it say here? For the first time since 2000, so almost 20 years.
Yeah, dang.
And then I think you know more about this guy than I do. The guest of honor, Keizo Murase.
Apparently he is a suit maker from both the Showa and the Heisei series. He's helped create, according to this little bio here, create iconic monster suits including Varan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Baragon, Titanosaurus, and then of course many others, which they don't quite describe here. And he's also have done things for the Gamera and the Daimajin films there. And then he's a president of 20 Limited and is one of the leaders in the field of Japanese kaiju model making. And then along with Daisuke Sato, he will report on their new kaiju film, Howl, from Beyond the Fog.
Yeah, I've heard of that particular project, but I'm not familiar with it. I'm sorry, and I can't get. Yeah, I can't get excited about it because, well, I know next to nothing about it. I know there was a big Kickstarter program going on about it, but I didn't give any money because I knew next to nothing about who he was and what the project was about. I
haven't really heard quite much about him as well, even though I've seen posts of it from other people that we are Facebook friends with together there, and I've seen them kind of post a lot of his work as far as what he has done. And then I think I've also kind of seen some posts of the specific project, but I haven't really delved in too much on it as well. So I'm kind of in the same situation as you on that one.
And then making another appearance at G-Fest, I think this might be his third to G-Fest, his second since we've been going. The last time he came was 2014 or 15, I want to say was the last time he came.
Yeah, I think it was G-Fest 22.
Don Fry. Don Fry.
You pretty much know.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
So, let's see, where's your scroll? Oh,
Just kind of go down.
and then of course, Robert Scott Field.
Need no say more.
And then another special guest, Gene Rizzardi. I'm sorry, I have not heard this person. Gene is an award-winning model maker and model supervisor whose credits include TriStar's Godzilla. Should know, because I love that movie. Titanic, Star Trek, and many others. In 1999, he created the first Mangled Skyscraper Award for presentation to Forey Ackerman at the Los Angeles Convention. Gene has handcrafted every MSA since. The 25th anniversary of G-Fest, it is only fitting that Gene will be on hand to give out 2 MSAs as well as participate in model making instruction.
That'd be
2
interesting.
MSAs, I bet you he gets one.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see this person in person.
This person in person. I really would love, I don't know, well, we'll find out.
Kind of get his insights on the Godzilla TriStar movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's going to be one of the big panels at this year's convention. Let's go over some of the Pickwick films here.
Let me grab that here. There you go.
So going over it, there's it's going to be
There's at least I think 4 movies. Yeah, 4 movies happening on Thursday evening.
Yeah.
2 in the afternoon and then 2 in the evening.
These are good movies, but I think if you're a person either looking for quite a bit of Godzilla or Gamera, you're going to be a little bit disappointed. But nevertheless, the lineup here is really good. And one of the movies I already see here, I have not yet seen. I don't know if I can find it anywhere, but anyway, so like for Thursday, for example, at the Pickwick, The first film they'll be showing is The Valley of Guanji. I own that film, but I haven't seen it in a while. It is a good film.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've last seen that one.
Then also there will be Dinosaurus. I just picked that up on DVD earlier this year.
So what's that about? Have you?
I saw it on TNT back in early-ish mid-90s. And it really is about this T-Rex and this Brontosaurus that are dug up from the ocean. They somehow were preserved. Lightning strikes them, and they come back to life. There's even a caveman that shows up. The T-Rex and the Brontosaurus do battle. The Brontosaurus ends up getting defeated. And then at the end, there's this big showdown with the T-Rex and some construction equipment. And it's a fun movie. It's really goofy and stuff, but it is a fun movie. I know few will have seen trailers and stuff.
It sounds like a crazy one.
It's fun. It really is fun. Then there's the next film is The Mighty Peking Man. Never seen it. Definitely have heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
I really would like to see that, but
made by the infamous Shaw. I shouldn't say infamous. I should say the famous Shaw Brothers studio, who also have done the Inframan.
Super Inframan, yeah, that's a fun, goofy film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really would like to try to see it because that's the one I've never seen before. Then rounding out Thursday is Pacific Rim Uprising, which I find it funny that they're going to show that simply because it was recently released on the home video, but I can also understand why they're showing it because, hey, it was a very recent sort of kaiju.
I mean, why leave it out?
Yeah. And then
same goes with this next movie here.
And then starting Friday, well, the only movie on Friday actually, Rampage.
That one.
Actually, for those of you, since we haven't talked about Rampage at all since we covered the movie here a while back, that's clear. I think already that's on digital right now.
Yeah, they say that's digital right now, and then 3 weeks.
On the 17th, the week we get back from G-Fest, it's coming out on the physical home video. So Rampage, I actually think that's a good movie. A lot of people say that's a throwaway type film. I can understand why they would say that, but I think it's a lot better than people give it credit for. As much as I like Pacific Rim Uprising, I do like it. I like it an awful lot. I like it a little bit more than maybe the average viewer. I think Rampage with entertainment value is more fun. I think it's better in that.
Yeah, I think I had more fun or entertainment out of that movie.
I did. I thought Rampage was a really, I'm going to say it. I'm going to use the G word. Good film. I think it's a lot better than people give it. A lot of people think it's throwaway popcorn. I disagree. I think it's a little bit better than that. Saturday evening, it's a film. It's a Godzilla film, and it's one that I've been touting for a little while at least, that I think is underrated and kind of deserves a little bit more props from the fan base. Is 1992's Godzilla versus Mothra. So that's the only Godzilla film that is on slate here for Pickwick. And that's Saturday evening at 10:30. So I hope you're ready for a late night, because by the time that movie's over, let's see,
it'll be for Rampage too. That's
it'll be
10:30.
It'll be like 12:15 in the morning. So hopefully I'm too old and I got young kids. So I used to be a late person. Since I had my kids, I'm more of a morning person now, and not by choice.
I'm still a late person, so I can probably at least handle it.
Well, and what was it, last year, the year before, they had Yongari, and I was...
Which one?
The first one.
Okay.
And I remember I was just like, boy, I think I really want... Because Yongari to me is...
I know you were tempted to actually go...
I mean, these are some good movies. I mean, like I said, I've never seen Mighty Peking Man, so I'm curious about that. But do I want to see Valley of Guanji? I own it. I don't need to see it. It's a good movie. I'm not saying it's bad. It's a good movie. Dinosaurus, good fun movie, but I own that too. I don't need to see it. Mighty Peking Man, never seen it, so I'm curious. Pacific Rim Uprising, own it. Can watch whenever I want. Rampage, really like that. Wouldn't mind actually seeing that again. Godzilla vs. Mothra, yeah, it'd just be nice to see, one of those earlier Godzilla films on the big screen. I mean, I can't say The Mighty Peking Man is the only one that gets me super excited, but not enough to buy like a ticket for the entire evening. And what time does that start?
I think it's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. So it's probably, what, hour and a half max? I could do that. 8:30.
Yeah, I think the Rampage or something. I would also say Mighty Peaky Man probably be the most interesting one.
I would like to see if I can find that on video somewhere.
Maybe in the dealer's room.
Maybe. All right. So
There you go.
here we go into the actual meat and potatoes of G-Fest 25. Big year. All right. So starting Friday, July 13 a.m.
Kind of
just
funny.
like every year.
Kind of funny too. Friday the 13th.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. It's the G-Fest orientation. Again, it's a panel for those who either are not familiar with the convention, its history, or
attending for the first time.
Yeah, and want some tips and pointers as far as maybe how to get the most out of their convention weekend.
Self-explanatory.
The next panel starts at noon. This is one of the big ones for me personally.
Yeah,
this is one that I was talking to you about last year that I was like, I'm thinking about maybe doing a panel on this. But I'm like, I'm not sure because, again, having kids, I'm not sure if I have enough time to do research. But Zilla's 20th birthday, or as I call it, Godzilla. It's Godzilla. It's Godzilla's 20th birthday. Anybody, of course, who does the obvious math knows that it's about the TriStar Godzilla film. It's going to be paneled with Jeff Horn, Tristan Domey, Miguel Barroso, Brian Scherschel, I'm sorry if I butchered your last name, and Scrooge Jones. Really looking forward to that. I'm excited about it because, again, that's one of my favorite films. Again, I think the Godzilla fandom is way too harsh on it. Mm-hmm. And it is Godzilla, folks. This particular film is considered Godzilla by Toho. If you don't believe me, I have proof, even from Keith Aiken, who used to work on the Godzilla animated series and is also a well-known sort of expert within the Kaiju fandom here in North America. It is Godzilla. If you want to consider the 2004 incarnation of it, then yes, that's Zilla. But no, the 1998 movie, it is Godzilla. And you know what? I'm going to go on another rant here while I'm at it. I love this movie, and I will defend it until the day I die. Over the years, a lot of people have said it's a good remake of the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, right? And I tell people anymore, no. Gojira is a remake of Beast from the 20,000 Fathoms because it was not only inspired by Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, Gojira leaves a trail of radioactivity in his wake, just like the Rhedosaurus did when he got shot and he was dripping blood. Also laid waste to a big metropolitan area. Rhedosaurus was New York, Gojira, Tokyo. The only real sort of connection the 98 film has to Beast from 20,000 Fathoms is that it's a giant reptile rampaging through New York. That's it. Mm-hmm. So, no, it's not a remake of Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, folks. If you really want to get serious and technical and nitty-gritty, Gojira really is more of a remake of Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. I know that a lot of people are going to say that's blasphemy, that's sacrilege, but no, it's true. And anybody, even a lot of you casual fans who know just a little bit about Godzilla history, know this because it's been told many times of how the Godzilla character came through. The big inspirations for that film were King Kong and Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. So there you go. I just had to get that off my chest. I'm sorry. I love this
umpteenth time.
I love this film. People are way too harsh on it. It is a significantly better film than people give credit.
Well, I think from what I've seen over the years, it's kind of slowly, somewhat growing on some of the people from what I've seen.
Well, people are growing on it, but they either consider it Zilla, which is incorrect, or they look at it as a general giant monster movie, and they look at Godzilla as not Godzilla in that movie. That's what I've been seeing from people who will say, yeah, it's not too bad, but I can make good arguments that this movie in many cases is better than most of this Toho films. I know, again, a lot of people are saying blasphemy. And the funny thing is, I think a lot of people are like, some of the criticisms hurled at this film are some of the same criticisms you can hurl at practically every Toho film as well, and I don't think people realize that. In getting back more to seriousness, I'm not in defense mode anymore. In all seriousness, though, I really do hope the panels here. I hope it's not a bash fest. If anybody out there who is a panel on this particular panel, and you're seeing this video before noon on July 13th, I just ask you to please have a couple of you defend the film. I mean, it's very obvious that a lot of you, if not all of you, are going to say, no, this isn't good, this may not be Godzilla or whatever. I just hope that there isn't pandering to the broader Godzilla base here in America, which of course doesn't care for the film. I do think this film needs defending. It is so much better. A lot of Godzilla fans make this out. They make it seem like this is the worst thing to have ever happened, and it's not. I can point out 3 or 4 films within the genre that are far worse than this.
But I think from what I'm seeing, the way that this is going to go, to probably be a little bit more realistic. I think there's probably going to be a good chance that I'm guessing a majority of panelists are going to be probably kind of making fun of it or / bashing it a little bit.
You have 5 panelists on here. My hope is that at least 2 of you, even if you don't like the movie, well, at least come to the movie's defense and at least try to even things out on some level, to not just make this a bash fest. This movie, I think, has a lot to celebrate. And even for those of you who hate this film, you have to admit that without this film, you probably wouldn't have had the Millennium series, or at least the Millennium series.
Or kind of maybe like a short or some other word I'm trying to think of right now, a good resurgence of the Godzilla series.
Yeah, I really am hoping at least 2 panelists here will try to give the movie some due credit. It's not a terrible movie. It's a better movie than people give it credit for. It saddens me, but it also angers me that there's so much misinformation out there about this movie. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do a panel on this this year, because not only do I love the movie, I'm passionate about it, but I think there's a lot of misinformation out there that continues to be, continues to be spread throughout the fandom on this movie. But on top of that, I don't think the movie gets its due credit. People, for whatever reason, their expectations were not met, and their whole rigid idea of who Godzilla should be, even what he should look like, all that and their anger, immediately they saw red, they put up blinders and refused. They crossed their arms and they refused to see anything that is good in this film, including the Godzilla redesign and different aspects of its personality. This film does deserve credit. I'm off my pedestal now. But I just
move on.
I just hope this panel is not a simple bash fest of the movie, because it's not a terrible film. It is so much better than that.
Okay, so now we're pretty much done with that spiel there.
Just a minute. No.
Also at 12 o'clock is the Kaiju Kingdom podcast, which they're going to be spotlighting their episode on Matt Frank, which he's also kind of a regular guest every year since we've been attending G-Fest there. So the podcast co-host, Jessica Sam, I know I'm butchering it, I'm sorry. And Chris Eaton are excited to have Matt Frank exclusive interview debuting at G-Fest 25. Come join us as we pick brain of one of the most well-known Godzilla artists and discuss the future of the Kaiju films.
Are they saying it's an exclusive interview for Kaiju Kingdom or Matt Frank? Because if it's an exclusive interview for G-Fest, it's not. Because we've been to several Matt Frank interviews at G-Fest over the years.
Because I know we went to the Kaiju Cast panel where I think
that was one of the
him.
first 2 years.
Yeah.
It was him, Zorno, Eggleton.
Yeah,
That may have been it.
Yeah, I think they had pretty much all the well-known artists in that one, but I think it's exclusive to cast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, my friend.
Pretty much self-explanatory.
Also at noon is a panel titled Kaiju Meets Samurai. Excuse me. Most Kaiju fans can tell the difference between the Showa and Heisei eras. What about all the movies that take place before that? Jomon era, Heian era, Moromachi. Which monsters live when? Come by for a crash course in Japanese history, only with more giant toads, 8-headed dragons, and giant stone warriors than you get in school with Kevin Derendorf. As someone, and I talked to you about this last night, as someone who took a Japanese samurai class, my final semester at college, and I was telling you this, I said, probably the most fun class I had at college, but as I told you too, it was difficult because there were so many eras to study, and it was difficult to keep track of the eras. Part of it is because it's a different language. We're not used to some of the words that they what they say here, like the Jomon era. That's not an English word for us other than to describe this particular period in Japanese history. So that's part of the difficulty. But this, this I think would be a pretty decent one.
Mm-hmm. And then there's really no description on this one.
Doesn't need one.
Also at noon o'clock in Ballroom 5, which I believe that is the Dojo Studios, is the interview with Keizo Murase. Keizo Murase. So there's no description to that. So
one of my favorites, and I don't think this
is going to be. I think it's probably going to be a good one.
This I don't think is an anniversary. In fact, I think its 50th anniversary was, gosh, maybe like
because I don't see anything as far as anniversary.
And I've even thought about doing a panel on this because this is one of my favorite fun films to watch. I mean, I became a fan of this movie the first G-Fest we went to, and we saw this on the in-house channel.
We were like, what the heck is this?
The title of this panel, Ogan Bat. And for those who aren't familiar, it's the Golden Bat. And you're like, oh, you guys are going to cover that here for episode 116, unless you were, of course, doing a G-Fest preview episode. Mm-hmm. Again, we will cover that. It'll be 2 episodes from now.
Yep.
But the Golden Bat, I mean, here's the description. Where is it that you come from, Ogan Bat? A question that only the Bats would know. Join Andrew Battaglia as he joins the history, join Andrew Battaglia as he explores the history of the first Japanese superhero and possibly the world's first modern superhero, Ogan Bat. I've read some things about that too, where he may be older than Superman as far as all that goes. Seriously though, folks, you got to check out Ogan Bat. If you're going to G-Fest and you're staying at the Crown Plaza, it will be on at some point during the in-house channel. It's fucking goofy. It really is, but that's one of the things that make it so great. It is a fun film.
If you see it and if you do like it, there is a dealer in the dealer's room that will sell that movie.
Yes.
So
all right.
Let me blow my nose here. Got some stuff running there. So the next one that we have here is at 1 o'clock in Ballroom 2. It's Jeopardy Adult Game 1.
I'm going to do something right here, right now on this spot that you may hate me for, but I think
I know what you're going to say.
I think it's worth doing. It's something to hold you accountable. I'm challenging you to go try one of these Jeopardies because I did it last year.
I'm probably going to suck, and I'll try to. If I do and try to do it, I probably won't even get a.
Like I was saying last year, the most difficult thing, outside of a couple questions, there were a couple questions that I did not know the answers to. The most difficult thing was timing your buzzer.
And then knowing me as well, I'm going to have brain farts too. So,
but you at least need to try to get up there. You need to at least in one of these Jeopardies try to get up there. Be 1 to 3.
Well, if I was really considering or maybe committing to do it, I probably would have to do some research on a few things.
Well, and I
don't particularly dive in really well on some of the stuff.
Well, and it's too late for me now too to do any research. But yeah, I thought last year, after a month of a break after G-Fest, I was maybe going to start reading some materials and start watching all the movies and watch them repeatedly over the next year. And try to look for things and try to pay attention to like sounds and words and things like that. And because I thought, okay, I really want to try to do better than what I did this last year. Didn't do it, and to be perfectly honest, it's because I forgot.
Yeah, go figure.
But I may try again too to try to be.
So the description for that says. The famed Kaiju quiz game returns under the expert guidance of Skip Peel. Compete on Friday to qualify for the final battle Saturday night. With only 2 adult qualifying games, the highest score of the runners-up will earn 1 wild card spot. Who will take home the coveted Godzilla trophy this year and become 2018's king or queen of Kaiju quizzes for players 13 years and up?
Yeah, I think a lot of they used to have 3 Jeopardies, and then the final one, but not anymore.
From what it looks like, from when I skimmed it, that they're going to be doing 2, and then they have a 1 Jeopardy kids quiz game.
Yeah. The next panel, also at 1 o'clock, Godzilla, paleontologist's take. Godzilla has been classified as a dinosaur, reptile, and even a plant. What is he really? Join us as we use paleontological methods to determine who the king truly is with Denny Roth. I hope Denny's a paleontologist, because otherwise this is bunk.
And then at 2 o'clock is Godzilla at Marvel Comics.
I swear over the last 3 or 4 G-Fests, they've had something similar.
Yeah, I think I probably came across something similar to this.
Now, I'm not familiar with Godzilla at Marvel Comics. In fact, I'm not that familiar with Godzilla Comics anyways, other than the IDW run. I mean, I knew he had a bit of a run at Marvel back in the 70s. Was it that extensive back in the day?
I think it was. I don't know if you've seen my one black shirt that I had. I think I might have bought it. I'll have to take a look. And it has like the cover of the very first issue of it. And I think I saw it at a comic book store up at my hometown here several years ago, and I wish I would have gotten it. It was for $25.
You'll probably make one, maybe. Anyways, find it this year at G-Fest.
Well, we'll see about that. But as far as the description, in the mid-70s, during the 9-year gap in Godzilla films, Marvel Comics introduced our favorite Kaiju into the Marvel Universe, where he fought other monsters, alien invasions, dinosaurs, giant robots, and of course, lots of superheroes. This panel will offer a critical overview of the 2-year series, along with some perspective on how comics were different from what we see today with Martin Alt.
So 2 years, then that means there were like really only 24 issues. So that's really not a lot.
That's not too terribly bad.
It's not terrible, but a lot shorter than what IDW has. I don't even know if IDW is producing those anymore.
I don't think I've heard really anything new.
I think their license ran out. At 2 o'clock, also on Friday, Jeopardy Adult Game 2. Also at 2 o'clock, a movie that I think has one of the creepiest moments I've ever seen, in at least the small bit of Japanese cinema that I've ever seen. The panel is titled H-Man, 60 Years. Kyle Bird and Matt Parmley of the Kaiju Transmission podcast discuss 60 years of the H-Man, including historical background, production history, and different versions of the film. We need to get going at G-Fest one of these days. Get our own panel.
I know you talked about it, or at least some of it. Both of us have kind of discussed.
For me, the most difficult part is trying to get the appropriate hardware to match up with what they got there set up in the ballroom, so that not only can people hear us, but so we can also record. our audio. I'm not a whiz kid. Maybe you know how to.
Well, I know, of course, they provide microphones and stuff there and everything. I think the only thing that we would need to do is, at least if we were going to do some kind of presentation on the screen, at least just have a computer,
Maybe
of
a
course,
mixer or something.
and then like a little we were planning on doing there. So.
Yeah. But it's fine film. It's not great. There's some moments that are slow and dull. That car chase is really the least exciting car chases you'll ever see in motion picture. But it's still a pretty fun film. A lot of the effects work and some of the matte work, I think, is done very well. But that scene, though, too, where that one sailor is talking about what happened, and then
Okay. It looks like it was still going.
was it?
Yeah.
This is not good.
Folks, some technical difficulties here.
Yeah. Man, oh man. So anyway, we were getting on with Kaiju Radio, Kaiju Vision Radio, Godzilla and the Japanese National Spirit. you know, Skype never really worked out for us. We've had some issues with this.
So it's like from what it looked like on our end, the screen where it kind of shows the preview window for us when we're recording here, it just said that everything was due to loss in connection, and then all of a sudden it just went black on us.
Yeah, but anyway, Kaiju Radio, Godzilla and the Japanese National Spirit, joined Brian Scherschel and Nathan Markham, who have analyzed the Godzilla franchise in 37 episodes of their podcast, Kaiju Vision Radio, as they illustrate how G-films have expressed Japanese thoughts and feelings on various contemporary issues over the decades. It may surprise you how even the silly films are full of profound hidden meaning. Sorry, guys, I've never heard of your podcast, but again, there's another podcast that's got a panel there, and they've only done 37 episodes. Got 116. What are we doing? And then
this one's pretty obvious.
One of the big cream of the crops, and it's sort of the major focal point at this year's G-Fest. The 50th anniversary of Destroy All Monsters. Steve Reifel, you owe me an interview, and Ed Gajaszewski commemorate the 50th anniversary of Honda's classic Destroy All Monsters, taking you behind the scenes to share the origins of the production, rare production art, making anecdotes, and personal memories of the 1968 film. It's surprisingly enough, though, and spoiler alert, this is the only panel on Destroy All Monsters this year that I saw. I thought because it's Destroy All Monsters and it's the 50th anniversary, I really thought that they would be really taking off with this. I thought there would be 3 or 4 panels on it.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising if that's really the case, but I'm probably guessing they're going to maybe do some stuff with the Saturday night, the Kaiju parade and all that stuff, and they do all that. I don't know, they might do something there, I don't know, or just maybe put up some kind of decorations in the hallway with
they will have
stuff.
I don't know if it's on,
or maybe kind of like a little walk-through museum like they've done.
I don't know if it's on the schedule. I saw it somewhere. It's either on the schedule or elsewhere. They will have a special room celebrating 25 years of G-Fest with various photos and stuff of what's happened over the years. And then there will also be a special room commemorating Destroy All Monsters.
Mm-hmm. And so the next panel here, also at 4 o'clock, is, like I just mentioned earlier, Jeopardy 2018 Kid Championship. In Ballroom 2, by popular demand, one grand game of Kaiju quiz has been designed for kids age 12 and under, and will crown a 2018 Kids Champion, awarding a mini trophy the winner can keep. For those interested in entering, arrive on time to gain highest marks on qualifying entry pre-quiz. Top 3 players will be able to compete for this title, moderated by, of course, Skip Peel. I think this would probably be something for Lincoln. Someday.
He's 3 years old.
Yeah, I said someday.
Let's see here. Check something here. Okay. All right, here we go. Another panel that starts at 4 o'clock on Friday, titled Attack of the Kaiju Anthology. Attack of the Kaiju is a collaboration of new writers and established authors. Learn how the 2 groups combine their efforts to promote the growth of quality kaiju fiction. Here you can ask the authors questions and feed on their feedback with Neil Ribe and Christopher Nigro. Sorry. At 7 o'clock then, opening ceremonies. No other explanation for that. And then also about 7:30, Young Fan Costume Parade. And then following that is Radioactive Karaoke.
I'm kind of surprised that they're doing a costume parade for Friday.
They've done that the last 2 years, I think. Because, really? Yeah, because everything used to be Saturday, but because people were complaining that with the kids and the adults costume parade, because it seemed like every year they were having more entries, it kept making the parade longer, and people who wanted to go to Pickwick to see like Symphonic Fury or go, they didn't go to Pickwick for Symphonic Fury. When they went to go see something like that, or they went to Pickwick to watch these movies, they were always late, and it was a very late night for a lot of people. So they changed it here like maybe 2 years ago. So that's nothing really new. It's relatively new, but it's not new.
Yeah.
So that's Friday, the first day.
All right. So starting off on Saturday, the 14th, 10 o'clock in the morning, one panels that we've seen basically almost every year since we've been attending is the Japan update with M11 or Robert Scott Field. He brings us the latest trends and kaiju-related cultural happenings in the land of the rising sun.
He's going to have stories this time because right now they've had tsunamis and major flooding.
Well, it's like I know specifically as far as the tsunamis.
Earthquakes. They just had an earthquake here.
Yeah, that's right. In Osaka, I know he's probably going to be really talking about that one because I think he was in the middle of it in Osaka.
Yeah. Also at 9 a.m., advancing your kaiju filmmaking skills. Really doesn't need any more explanation. Also at 9, Shigeru Mizuki. I don't know what
no Kitaro.
There you go.
That is one of the new animes that's being played right now. It's taking the time slot for the Dragon Ball Super for the time being when they're taking a break because they're going to be using up their entire resource for their upcoming movie later this year. So that's kind of their big anime special that they have, I think, every 10 or so years.
Now, it's saying here for the description, a celebration and retrospective of the work of yokai master Shigeru Mizuki on the 50th anniversary of the original Gegege no Kitaro series with Joyce Boss. I think she's the gal that's been talking about yokai and stuff the last 2 G-Fests. I think that's the same gal. Maybe.
I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm probably guessing because this anime, I think, actually kind of delves into that yokai stuff. So this would definitely make sense.
If you're looking for a fun yokai game, play the Yokai Watch games. And I'm not. If I
have like the DS or whatever, it's
on 3DS. I have 3DS, and they are fun. So let's see here. At 10 o'clock, see your computer here. At 10 o'clock, the other side of Ishiro Honda, Ed Gajushevsky and Steve Reifel. You owe me an interview. Authors. I was doing that last year. Authors of the biography Ishiro Honda, A Life in Film from Godzilla to Kurosawa, show clips from and discuss the legendary director's non-genre work. That might be interesting. Well, I guess here's another one.
This is kind of what I thought that they might be doing. At 10 o'clock as well, and Ballroom 2 is celebrating Destroy All Monsters. So there you go. There's more than one panel for the film. It's been 50 years since the Keylocks took control of all Earth's monsters. Come relive the invasion through the memories of our illustrious panel with Martin Alt, Danny Torkars. I know I'm probably butchering your name there. Colin McMahon, Kevin Horn, Jeff Horn, Mike Sutton, and Miguel Barroso.
Also at 10 o'clock on Saturday, Godzilla Stories. Join us for an interactive session where fans share their stories inspired by and about Godzilla. Bring one story you're working on, or if you have the kernel of an idea, Stephen Schilling and Nathan Merkian. I'm sorry, Nathan, I don't know how to pronounce your last name properly. Will help draw the deeper elements of your story into the open. You'll be surprised by the variety of ideas you hear and may very well be inspired to contribute your own. All right, and at 11 o'clock, Summit Kaiju Creative Contest. The Summit Kaiju panel will be unveiling an animated short film featuring a new CGI kaiju and revealing the winners of the online creative photo contest. I never heard about this.
No, I haven't either.
And I've joined numerous kaiju and Godzilla groups. I've never heard anything about this. This is a large panel with Jeremy Soules, Rich Aso, Kyle Young, Jessica Shang, Christine Chapin, David Eric Dopko, John B. Bumpus, Jessica Etchells, Leslie Chambers, John Ruffin, and David Galindo.
Yeah, that probably will be interesting to see. Excuse me. And also at 11 o'clock is the Kenpacho Satsuma interview in Ballroom 2, just right next door to the panel that we just went over. And looks like Calico's also going to be in this one too, so he can't be in two places at once.
Did he get cloned?
I'm guessing the way it's saying right here, the man in the Heisei G suit returns for his third visit to discuss his life and times and Godzilla with Kyle Yount. So I'm guessing he's going to have to choose one or the two.
He'll probably do both.
Yeah, just going back and forth after he gets done with one question, he goes back in the other room and then back and forth.
Okay. Also at 11, Drawing with Matt, 25th G-Fest edition. Comic artist Matt Frank will do Q&A as he draws a big special anniversary G-Fanta sketch. At noon, Fresh Vinyl Live. Also at noon, interview with Megumi Odaka. Also at noon, Gamera vs. Virus at 50. I totally forgot about that, and I like that film. That's one of my favorites of the Gamera series.
Then the next one here at 1 o'clock is Tokyo SOS 15 years.
15 years.
Hard to believe.
15 years. I remember when that thing came out on DVD here in the States.
That and when it was being made too. Because I remember going on to the official Godzilla Japanese site and they had that entire page designed for it.
I remember when Godzilla 2000 was in pre-production.
And I was in 6th grade at that time. Hard to believe.
Boy. Also at 1, interview with Gene Rizzardi. Gene is a sculptor G-Fest coveted Mangled Skyscraper Award, but his resume holds other massive achievements, including on such films as Titanic and the 1998 Godzilla film. His memories of working on the latter film will be part of the quote-unquote grilling conducted by Stan Hyde. A couple there at 1 o'clock that I think would be really good. Also at 1, The Art of Kaiju Writing. Join Skip Peel for discussion on writing kaiju fiction. We'll cover all aspects of fiction writing. If you have questions, ask them. We're here for you.
And at 2 o'clock in Ballroom 1 is Pacific Rim 2, where this spring, the long-anticipated sequel to Pacific Rim hit theater. More Jaegers and more urban destruction.
Sorry, error. There weren't more kaiju in that.
Yeah, I can probably. Yeah, I think so. Our panel will discuss the pros and cons of this latest giant monster movie with Jeff Horn, Ira Taborn, Miguel Barroso, Scrooge Jones, and Nathan Marchand.
Damn it, Nathan.
Man, looks like he's going to be pretty busy.
We're yanking your chain, Nathan. Maybe. Also at 2, Women of Godzilla fandom. What? I guess I never paid close attention to this one. For as long as Godzilla fandom
just started this one.
For as long as Godzilla fandom has existed, both those within the community and outsiders would be quick to assume that it is a boys' interest area. Here to dispel this myth are women who have long loved Toho's greatest creation, providing fresh new perspective on frequently asked questions. Moderated by Jessica. Well, since you said you provide a lot of new perspective and insight, there's a lot of pressure on you now, Jessica. I hope you do provide.
And then also at 2 o'clock is Kaiju Economics. Economics simulations of giant monster destruction.
This sounds fun.
Yeah. Like any good multi-stage monster, the giant monsters by the numbers has mutated into something new and terrifying, Kaijuomics. Join us as we take a new angle into some of your favorite giant monster attacks, starting with the event, then estimating how the world would react to such destruction, giant monsters plus economics, with Keith Foster.
At 2:30, interview with Kaiju Murase.
Another one.
At 3, remembering Haruo Nakajima.
I kind of figured that they might do a panel.
Also at 3, one of my favorite panelists, and that's not a knock on anyone else, but I like this guy an awful lot, Kevin Horn. He's going to be the panelist for this 6 years. What makes Veron's unbelievable? Come and join Kevin Horn as he takes this guy. I mean, I can understand why, it's not sort of, not like a Rodan or obviously a Godzilla, maybe even a Mothra either, but it's got a few moments in it.
Mm-hmm.
And also at 3 o'clock, How to Kill a Kaiju schemes to off Godzilla. In a period of time spanning over 60 years and 32 movies, people have always asked one question when facing the might of Godzilla. How do you kill this guy? Join Ira Taborn as he reviews and analyzes many attempts to kill the Big G.
And then at 4 o'clock, I think you mentioned about this earlier in the episode.
Well, this is just a panel.
Is the G-Fest memories. After 25 years, there are plenty of G-Fest memories to shift through. J.D. Lee's, Stan Hyde, and others associated with the world's most successful Kaiju convention.
And probably the only one that I'm aware of.
Yeah, will conduct a tour down memory lane.
At 4 o'clock, Kaiju music videos.
Self-explanatory.
Also at 4, giant robot movies. Giant robot flicks have been around for the whole history of the Kaiju genre. With hot new releases like Brave Storm and Pacific Rim Uprising capturing the world's attention, it's never been a better time to be a mecha fan. This retrospective covers the highlights of the often overlooked giant robot movie subgenre with Kevin Behrendorf.
And then pretty much there is a break in between that one and 7 o'clock is pretty much rounding things out for Saturday night. Starting at 7 o'clock is the Jeopardy Championship between the 2 adult winners and probably a wild card.
And a runner-up.
Yep. And then after that is the awards ceremony a half hour later. And then the adult costume parade. And then the amateur kaiju videos. Pretty much rounding out over at the convention part, and then rounding up for the rest of the day is the Godzilla vs. Mothra movie over at the Pickwick Theater.
That concludes Saturday.
And then now we have Sunday, the third and final day of G-Fest 25, starting at 10 a.m. In Ballroom 1, the all-new Sonorama panel with Kenichi Bai. Guessing I maybe pronounced that right, maybe, joins Dan Hyde and Len Medlock for a celebration of classic kaiju art and artists. You'll see the stories of your favorite kaiju that have been carefully guarded secrets until now. And there will be some classic kaiju storytelling as well.
I think if this is what I think it is, the sonoramas, I think they're those artist drawings like you would see on classic Japanese records and stuff like that. They look like they were done in pencil or something like that.
Or kind of like those really kind of old school, maybe kind of arts.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's what those are. If that's the case, this is either the second or the third time in like 3 years in which Stan has covered that stuff. I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, he covered that stuff, and that stuff is great. I mean, I never realized how much of that there was out there until I went to that panel, and I downloaded and collected a bunch of it. I don't know where it is, but yeah, I mean, that's some interesting stuff. Like in one of them, you get like King Kong fighting Ghidorah. It's fun stuff like that. It's really great. Also at 10 o'clock. Kaiju Crazy Moments. What the heck? A celebration of movie moments that made you rewind and watch the scene again just to make sure you saw it right. We will be discussing our favorite moments in Kaiju film history. Afterwards, the audience decides which moment is the best with Scrooge Jones. I bet you it's going to be down to 2 moments. Godzilla flying.
Yep.
Godzilla drop kick.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you that's what it's going to be. There have been some crazy moments to show the Gamera film. But
Well, it doesn't say like specifically, so I'm probably guessing you're going to be talking more.
Right, I know, but I'm just saying
Bucks, so.
it's probably going to be down to those two moments.
Yeah. So also at 10 o'clock in the Kennedy Room, Alternate Cut Preservation Society. The Godzilla series and other kaiju films have never been more readily available in the U.S., but are the versions originally screened outside of Japan in danger of disappearing? Join us to learn all about the status of these alternate cuts and what G fans can do to help preserve them. With Will Offit and Michael Kalari, I think that's how you pronounce it.
At 11, interview with Don Fry. Also at 11, The Lost Films, New Discoveries. In the year since John LeMay wrote his Lost Films book, he made a multitude of new discoveries relating not only to giant monsters, but also unmade sequels for human-sized Toho monsters like Mizuno, Human Vapor. Titles discussed will later include Frankenstein versus the Human Vapor, the real story behind Yoshimitsu Banno's Godzilla vs. Ghidorah 2, unmade Daimajin remakes, and more surprises.
I think that'd probably be an interesting one to go to.
Some of that stuff I've already heard. Steve Reifel in his book Japan's Famous Monstar covered a lot of unmade Godzilla films, at least, and some of those I've already heard.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock also, Godzilla Planet of Monsters. Part 1 of the Godzilla Planet trilogy was released in English on Netflix earlier this year. Join panelists Chris Little, Ira Taborn, Miguel Barroso, and Scrooge Jones as they discuss the first installment.
And speaking of this, I think I just saw a posting on Facebook. I'm not sure who posted it. Yeah, it seems like the sequel to this anime is going to be coming out on Netflix the day after. Was it July 17th?
Let's check that right now. Let's check that right now.
Yeah, let's do that here.
A little brief time. Please indulge us while we look this up.
What was the subtitle?
City on the Edge of Battle.
City on the Edge of Battle. Netflix, bro. Here. Well, as that's going right now, let's just kind of continue on with what we're doing here.
All right. At noon, award ceremonies.
Self-explanatory.
Also at noon, Japan's Green Monsters, a recent book from Sean Rhodes and Brooke McCorkle, provides a new interpretation of Godzilla, Mothra, Gamera, and other kaiju. Analyzing Japanese history, society, and film, the authors show the ways in which monster cinema takes on environmental and ecological issues, from nuclear power and industrial pollution, biodiversity, and climate change. That sounds like it's a different take on it. Okay, also at noon, Kaiju and speculative poetry.
All right, we are live. So sorry, folks. We've been kind of having some internet connections. If you've been kind of watching us during us doing this, I think been getting some weak signals going on in the room that we were in. Yep, it's too small that way. So maybe we just have to kind of stay in here, possibly. So face that way. Yeah, there we go. And get some light turned on here. Oop. All right, I'll put that down there, and then you go do that. And then, sorry, folks. Sorry. All right. Trying to remember where we left off here. All righty. Fun times we're having. Fun times podcasting. What are you doing here? Let me take care of this. Let's see here. Oh yeah, move that over.
There it is.
There you go.
Okay, so I think before things went out, we were getting ready to talk about Godzilla and Japanese nationalism. From Godzilla 54 to Shin Godzilla, the complex subject of Japan's post-war identity and its relations with the U.S. and the world have periodically arisen the Kaiju ego. Join Steve Reifel, you owe me an interview, and Ed Gaduszewski for a discussion about this fascinating subject that helps illuminate the genre. And also at 1 o'clock in Ballroom 2, Giant Monsters Attack NYC, a history. Ever wonder why King Kong, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and Godzilla love NYC so much? So they called it Godzilla.
Learn about the cinematic destruction of New York City at the claws of some well-known and not so well-known giant monster movies, or movie monsters. This event will encourage discussion, audience questions, and will feature the interactive New York City Giant Monster Attack map. Join Mark Bailey to see why the Big Apple is so ripe for destruction when it comes to giant monsters.
Because it's one of the world's largest cities, that's why.
And also at 1 o'clock, American characters in Godzilla films. In 1954, Toho created one of the greatest Japanese film franchises, Godzilla.
False.
So one must ask, why do these old white guys keep showing up? Join Ira Taborn as he reviews the fascinating history of American characters in Toho Godzilla films.
All right, at 2 o'clock, objectively the best Godzilla movie ever, period. Every person has a favorite Godzilla movie, but we've all still wondered which one is really the best. Well, according to the Japanese, it's Baiolane. Join in this lighthearted debate as expert panelists settle once and for all. This was weird how there was a word I left out there.
I would
the way
say
they have it.
They should say to settle,
yeah,
comma, once and for all.
Yeah, the way that was worded. Which Godzilla movie is the king of the movie monsters? With Colin McMahon, Kim Taborn. Where have you been hiding all convention long? Jessica Shang and John LeMay. Question. Objectively, putting your personal preferences aside, what do you think is the best Godzilla movie ever?
Oh boy, if it's not personal.
Not personal. I've got an answer. I've got an answer, and I think if I were on this panel, I could successfully defend it.
Oh, I probably would at least say Monster Zero.
Really? I love Monster Zero, one of my personal favorites. I don't think it's the best, though. Here's what I think is the best. The Return of Godzilla.
I thought you said it wasn't personal.
Yeah, it's not personal.
That was mine.
Objectively looking at it.
Okay.
Looking at all the films. A lot of people say Gojira is the best. Gojira is a good movie, don't get me wrong. But let's face it. And yes, part of it's because it's old. It's an older movie. It hasn't aged all that well in some spots. But I think The Return of Godzilla with its message is still very relevant. So there's that. But also I really enjoy how it's shot, how the music captures the terror and the dread and the atmosphere of the times. And I think the miniature work done in that movie, really, I think just skimming through all the Godzilla films in my head, I think it's the best miniature work ever done on a Godzilla film. It's a film that I think really captures what, and this is going to sound bad to people, but I think what they did with The Return of Godzilla is what the original fathers of Godzilla wanted to create with Gojira. And obviously they did for the times because it did so well. But I think because of some of the limitations, especially in the effects department, in certain respects, again, nothing against Tsuburaya or anything, I think to a certain level they couldn't quite capture some of what they wanted to. They did, but at the same time they didn't. Like I said, that's going to come out bad. A lot of people are going to end up going, "Oh, you know, what in the world are you talking about?" But I think The Return of Godzilla, in my, taking personal likings out of it and really looking at things objectively, I think it's The Return of Godzilla. Also at 2 o'clock, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, 25 years. It's been 25 years since G-Force built a robotic version of Godzilla in order to defeat him once and for all. Come hear a panel of expert fans share their views on arguably the most popular of the Heisei Godzilla films with Jeff Horn, Danny Tokaris, Kevin Horn, Ira Taborn, and Miguel Barroso. That'll be another fun one. Crap, there are 2 panels there at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, and then the one that's also at 2 o'clock is creating original kaiju. When a genre is ruled by a 100-meter-tall, fire-breathing monster, how do creators go about making all-new kaiju for fans to enjoy? Join author Dane G. Kroll, Realm of Goryeo, and creators from the Kaiju Assault card game as they discuss their processes in developing new kaiju for their books and games.
Okay, at 3 o'clock, G-Fan, G-Fest, and G-Tour. Any fans curious about the history, inner workings of, or future plans for the 3 Gs may ask questions and make suggestions with J.D. Lees.
I probably would be a little bit more interested in the G-Tour thing.
Yeah. Also at 3, Godzilla YouTubers. Hey, that also includes us. This panel will feature members of the Godzilla YouTube community who will speak about themselves, how they started on YouTube, the positives and negatives, as well as how it has affected them in the way they connect with others, with Miguel Barroso, Rafael Kazume, and Richard Manzo. Well, let me tell you how I got started. See, it all started September 28th, 1992. Also at 3, the most monstrous non-Godzilla Godzilla games. Godzilla stomped his way through many a video game console, but what if a particular game publisher couldn't afford the Toho license? Enter titles like Rampage, King of the Monsters, and the Earth Defense Force series. Join Matt McMuscles, is that really your name? As he breaks down the pretenders, wannabes, and even the serious competitors to Godzilla's throne. So we have a special guest here. My little cat Kong. Zershi. She doesn't know what to make of it.
Yes, now she's probably stealing the show. So
a kitty cat on the internet.
Yeah,
she's popular and famous.
And the last and final panel for the entire convention here at 4 o'clock in Ballroom 2 is Kaiju Confessions. It's time to pack up G-Fest for another year. Join the celebration of Kaiju song and dance. What's a monster movie without catchy tunes? Now it's time to purchase
Participate.
Participate in the fun.
1995. Come sing along.
Join us. Let's save the Earth with Stan Hyde.
That's gonna be a running joke this year. Let's go purchase Kaiju Confessions.
I for a sec there, I thought I said purchase, but it's participate. My bad.
So that's G-Fest.
So, yes, so that concludes the entire schedule.
Have you actually ever been to the Kaiju Confessions? I went to one of them. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think I was with you there too, I believe.
I think you were with me for part of it. I was there for one of them. Sorry, it's not my cup of tea, but it's mainly very unique.
It was just mainly a lot of fans just kind of talking amongst one another.
Well, it is a lot about song and dance.
You had some
like if you're if you're a kid or you have children, or you are a person who is incredibly outgoing, Kaiju Confessions is the thing for you to go to because it's just nothing but a crazy time with song and dance and kaiju and giant monster music type videos. But let's just kind of go over, well, what are your general impressions now that we've gone over the entire schedule? What are your overall general impressions?
I think this is probably being way better than G-Fest 21. I think it does have some good promise for it. Mm-hmm. As far as being maybe better than G-Fest 24, I think it could rival it or be a little bit better. Yeah, maybe not a little bit better, but better.
Well, and I want to go through now and just kind of go talk about some of the panels that I really am excited about and hope to attend, depending upon scheduling and all that. But starting with Friday, for me, obviously, Godzilla's 20th birthday. Also, sorry if you hear my cat in the litter box. Well, I would like to go to it, but I probably won't be able to just because of scheduling conflict. And Kaiju Meets Samurai looks like a good one.
Of course, when it comes to a lot of these going on at one, like at the same time and stuff, you can't go to all of them.
Yeah,
that's the one bad thing when it comes to these sort of conventions.
Definitely want to go to Olgambat at 2 o'clock. I would like to go to Jeopardy. You're gonna enter. Oh no! Also at 2 o'clock, H-Man 60 years. Shit.
So you're gonna have to make some sacrifices.
You have to make some sort of decision. At 3 o'clock, I definitely would like to go to the top 10 sci-fi prehistoric monsters. I think that would be fun. Definitely at 4 o'clock, Destroy All Monsters. Let's see. Now the two groups, new writers and established authors. No. Then really, I think after the Destroy All Monsters, I would consider it done until the opening ceremonies. So that would be for me for Friday. Saturday, I would like to.
I'll definitely go to the Japan update.
I think the Shigeru one, even though obviously I'm not familiar with it, that sounds interesting enough that I may want to go there. There's a scheduling conflict at 10 with 2 panels that I would like to go to. One is The Other Side of Ishiro Honda, and the other one is Celebrating Destroy All Monsters. And then let's see, Kenpachiro Satsuma, I would definitely like to go to that at 11. Megumi Odaka at noon with oh shit, and then also at noon is Camera versus Virus at 50. So scheduling conflict there. At 1 o'clock, Tokyo SOS would be good, and then also at 1 o'clock, another scheduling conflict with Gene Rizzardi. Pacific Rim 2 at 2 o'clock. Women of Godzilla fandom, I think, would be kind of interesting too.
Then you also have that Kaijunomics at the same time.
Kaijunomics, that wasn't that. It would be fun from like a geeky nerd numbers standpoint. At 3 o'clock, I definitely would like to do the Varan. At 4 o'clock, the G-Fest memories, and then also the giant robot movies would be fun, but again, scheduling conflict.
And then we pretty much have a 3-hour break.
Yeah, then basic, well, 2.5 technically. or 2 actually, because I think a lot of these panels are like an hour. G-Pretty Championship, an award, costume, all that fun stuff. Sunday, the Sonorama, I think, would be a lot of fun.
Don Fry won.
Don Fry, also Godzilla Planet of Monsters would be good. I think Japan's Green Monsters would be fun. Godzilla and Japanese nationalism, as someone who is a history major, I think I would get a fun time out of that one. At 2 o'clock, objectively, the best Godzilla movie ever would be good, but then that comes into conflict with Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 at 25 years. And then, let's see here, at 3 o'clock, I think the Godzilla games.
I probably would do the G-Fan thing there.
Yeah, I went to one of those, what was it, a year ago or whatever. It was all right, but...
So, yeah, I think, let's see here. I would, of course, definitely go to the 20th birthday Godzilla there on Friday at noon. And let's see here.
Maybe something we could do for scheduling conflicts is I go to one, videotape it.
That's
go to the other.
That's kind of what we. That's kind of what we usually do.
Make sure your batteries work this time. For like 2 or 3 straight years, you've had issues with batteries.
I think it was just the. It was the battery charger. When I come to find out that I think it was something within it. It wasn't getting the charge from the outlet, so I had to purchase another one. So, and then of course I bought some new batteries for it. So I tested it out. I think a few months ago, so it should be good to go. When we get to Chicago, I'll definitely will need to at least charge up 2 batteries.
Oh, I will too.
For it there, and then probably that new camera that you gave me there, which I know that'll record much longer video than my Nikon camera that I've been using for the last few years, even though the limited recording video time it does is 20 minutes on that one. But yeah, I would definitely, and the Oregon back is conflicting with the G-Pretty one there too, so that's going to be another sacrificial one there. Let's see here, the Godzilla Marvel Comics might be pretty interesting. Let's see here. I think maybe the horror and kaiju films, possibly.
That sounded kind of interesting, yeah.
Definitely the 50th anniversary of Destroy All Monsters. Let's see here. And I think I might be good until the opening ceremonies at 7 o'clock. Kind of depends. And then, like I said earlier, definitely would like to go to the Japan update with Robert Scott Fields, even though it's going to kind of conflict. I would like to go to the Advanced Your Kaiju Filmmaking Skills one there, and then as the Shigeru Mizuki, and with the Gigigi no Gitaro.
You have to admit that's a pretty funny title.
Yeah, when I first heard of it, it does kind of sound funny. Definitely would like to do the Celebrating Destroy All Monsters panel at 10. Let's see here. Kenpacho, definitely going to do that one there. Let's see here. Yeah, the new one's kind of conflicting as well. I might. Were you thinking of doing either the Vera's 50th? Or
I can go to the Vera's and you go to Odaka.
Yeah, I can probably do that. Let's see here. Yeah, this one's also kind of conflicting at 1 o'clock with Tokyo SOS and Gene Mizzardi. I think I might go to the Tokyo SOS one.
Okay, then I can go to the G Resarty.
Yes, especially with you, because I know you really want to dive into see what he talks about with the '98 Godzilla. Let's see here. I think Pacific Rim 2 I probably will go to do that one there. Let's see here. 3 o'clock one. There's kind of two conflicting ones from me. I might do the Remembering the Haru Nakajima one at 3 o'clock Saturday, and then I'll probably do the G-Fest Memories there, and then I think I'll be good until 7 o'clock when they do all the big stuff, starting at 7 o'clock.
You wouldn't want to do giant robot movies?
Well, like I said, G-Fest Memories, which is at 4 o'clock as well. So I'll kind of see how that goes, and if there's really not much going on there, I might go into the giant robot movies one. And then Sunday, let's see here. I think I might take a look at the Alternate Cut Preservation Society panel there. And then at 11 o'clock, Don Fry. Oh, here's the Godzilla Planet of Monsters one taking place. So maybe I'll just do Don Fry, since from the sounds of it, I think you might be doing the Planet of Monsters.
I think it's a good film, and so I'm a fan of that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'll be doing the Don Fry. And let's see, at noon, I think I'll probably do the award ceremony and contest winners for that one, attend that. And then, see, at 1 o'clock, I think I'll probably do the nationalism one as well. And let's see, at 2 o'clock, we're going to be doing the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2 25 years panel there.
I can if you're going to go to the best Godzilla movie ever.
Let's see. Yeah, I might go.
Time to think about.
Yeah, I might go to that one, or the Creating Original Kaiju. And let's see here. Then at 3 o'clock, I think I might do the G-Fest and G-Tour panel there for Sunday to kind of round things out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's kind of my take of what I might plan on doing for me, anyways.
Yeah, I still think for me personally, I'm going to close this out. I think for me personally, this will definitely.
There you go.
I think this will definitely be a top 3 as far as G-Fest are concerned. At least that's what it looks like. It has the potential to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's because you finally, unlike the last couple of years where it's been a little sparse, and part of it is not really the fault of panelists, but it's just kind of how some of the years have come. You haven't had too many of the big anniversary panels and things like that. You had last year an anniversary panel. I think it was the 25th anniversary of Godzilla versus Mothra. Pretty good panel. Not quite as great as I was hoping, but it was still pretty good. But yeah, like the last 2 years, you haven't had like those big anniversary panels. For me, those have always been sort of the big things, because in our first 2 G-Fests that we went to, there were so many of those, and Kevin Horn was always a big part of most of those in some way, shape, or form. And for me, just kind of, I have it ingrained in my mind that that's kind of what those to me are sort of the bedrock of panels at G-Fest.
Yeah, but it does look like they're going to be doing quite a bit with Destroy All Monsters this year, with at least 2 panels there. One just kind of doing a 50th anniversary panel, and then the other one celebrating Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah. So that's G-Fest 25 this year. So for those of you going, if you see us, look us up. I mean, we're going to be wearing some T-shirts like this. This is going to be one of them. And another one's going to be more basic that just says Daikaiju Network on it. You can notice us from our
Yeah, it
motto
says a healthy obsession with Kaiju. I also brought along some of the shirts that I made a couple years ago with the logo and all that, and then with the tagline as well on the back, and a polo as well. So we'll kind of just pick and choose from there, and then of course we have our own Godzilla Monster T-shirts that we'll be bringing along as well.
Yeah, so I mean, if you see us and you want to say hi, maybe discuss a little kaiju or whatever, hey,
and then we'll
start chit-chatting.
And then we've also finally, after discussing about it for a couple of years, designed some business cards. I don't have anything here with me right now, but we got quite the handful of business cards with our logo and stuff on the front and back, just kind of information how to get to our website, and then the social media that we're currently on as of right now. So definitely get a hold of us there, and even for the new listeners, if you're watching this, you know, in the future and stuff, you can definitely see that kind of on the card if you've gotten that and stuff from G-Fest 25. So yeah, I think
we're always open to suggestions and stuff like that. I know we haven't had guests on here for a while. My hope at some point, for me personally, would be maybe to get Kat, Josh, and Patrick back on here at some point. Maybe restart those kaiju commentaries that we were doing. Also, at some point, and I would have to do some discussion with the individual, but I would like at some point too to get Kevin Horn on the podcast at some point as well. Either make him a guest that comes on every so often, or maybe even a frequent guest when we, especially when we discuss, you know, go back into some of these older films like Golden Bat. I mean, we're going through also the Godzilla films again up to Godzilla 2000, and you know, I think he would be not only just a fun person who's you know, just having a lively discussion about those films, you know, would be, but also to get, you know, maybe some extra history and some extra information on those films as well. So to be continued on that. I definitely
and also hope our connection as far as the internet goes works.
Yeah, with that hotel, you never know.
Well, if we're kind of higher up, chances of that's going to be kind of slim in a way, because I think in the past couple of years when we've been on the top floors and all that, the internet connection hasn't been too good.
What we need to do is when we check in, just ask if we can choose like a room on like floor 2 or 3 or something like that.
Well, like I mentioned last year, I mentioned about having at least a lower floor room, and that's what we've gotten. I think it was it 4th floor or 5th floor or something like that. So,
but anyway, that's G-Fest 25. We hope to maybe do a couple of videos while we're there. We're definitely going to record videos of some of the panels. But again, depending upon internet connection and things like that, most of those anyways, even if we had good internet, probably won't get uploaded until after we come back.
Yeah, as far as me doing anything like on my phone or something like that, I'm probably not going to be doing it, because we have a lot of people there going on. They're going to be trying to hook it on to the Wi-Fi, and it's probably, the reception is going to be terrible. So I'm probably just going to maybe just do pre-recording stuff and then just uploading later in the day.
Yeah, so that's videos and stuff we do take, probably going to have to wait till after G-Fest and we get home. So we will have some stuff, so there will be some of the panels you'll get to see. and the like. So my hope is that this year we can definitely do a better job of documenting. I got a new video camera this year, so I'm really excited to put that to use for this convention. And I know we've been talking about doing some other videos for our YouTube channel. It's just been a little crazy here the last few months, but hopefully at some point down the road we can get more of that stuff done too. But here in the next, week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, we'll be putting up more videos on our YouTube channel. We'll also try to remember to put links to those on our Facebook page at least as well. So you can see them in your news feed and just, have a quick click away from those videos. You hopefully get to see a lot of the panels that we saw as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'll need, hopefully that my Nikon camera works this time around. If I do plan on using it, but Kent just gave me one of his camcorders, so I'll maybe just kind of test that a little bit. So, okay, just kind of have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, anyways, thanks for watching.
Yep.
And have a healthy obsession with kaiju.
We'll catch you later, folks.